Now, Navarro then took a shot at Musk on CNBC, saying the Tesla CEO is, quote, not a car manufacturer.
Elon Musk just called Trump's top trade advisor a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks. And within hours, Wall Street went into a full-blown panic. Is this the moment the Musk-Trump alliance finally cracks wide open?
When asked about this feud at today's press briefing, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt didn't refute it. Instead, she said this.
It all started with Trump's decision to revive one of his favorite economic tools, tariffs. Under his second-term agenda, the former president proposed sweeping new tariffs targeting Chinese goods, with a sharp focus on electric vehicles. The goal, according to his camp, was to protect American industry and punish China for what he called unfair trade practices. But to people like Elon Musk, who run globally intertwined businesses, this wasn't a smart move. It was a direct threat to companies like Tesla, which rely on both Chinese manufacturing and the Chinese market. Elon wasn't just annoyed, he was alarmed. And instead of keeping quiet, he reportedly made private appeals to Trump, urging him to pull back or reconsider.
Tesla CEO is, quote, not a car manufacturer, but a car assembler, which Musk responded to by calling Navarro a, quote,
Tesla doesn't just build cars in America. Its supply chains are international, its raw materials come from all over the world, and a big chunk of its profits come from sales in China. Any disruption in that ecosystem, like massive tariffs or retaliatory moves from Beijing, could cost Tesla billions. Musk knew that. He saw the tariffs not as policy, but as a loaded weapon aimed at the heart of his business. That's why he stepped in personally, hoping his past support for Trump would give him some leverage. But Trump didn't budge, and worse, Peter Navarro, the former White House trade advisor and a longtime champion of tariffs, went on national TV to take a personal swipe at Musk. On CNBC, Navarro dismissed Musk as not a car manufacturer, but a car assembler, as if Tesla was just a workshop rather than the world's most valuable EV company.
The disintegration continues despite the fact that the 10-year-olds are acting like, well, 5-year-olds.
That insult hit a nerve. Musk didn't just see it as petty, it was insulting, condescending, and totally dismissive of what he's built. And when you put that together with Trump ignoring his warning on tariffs, it was clear the relationship had hit a breaking point. Musk's response wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. He wasn't just defending his ego, he was defending his bottom line. His furious reaction that followed made one thing clear. If Trump's policies keep hurting Tesla, Elon's going to fight back, even if it means tearing into people from Trump's own team. This wasn't just about tariffs. It was about survival.
A moron. So that is sort of the internal dialogue taking place. Caroline Leavitt was asked about the two close advisors' public spat, and she said, boys will be boys.
When Navarro took his jab on CNBC, Elon Musk didn't hold back. He took to X, formerly Twitter, and called Peter Navarro a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks. It was brutal, raw, and instantly viral. The post blew up in minutes with thousands of replies, memes, and retweets flooding in. People weren't used to seeing this level of public infighting between two powerful figures aligned with the same political side. Elon wasn't playing diplomat anymore. He was going for the jugular, and he made it personal. But beneath the name-calling was a much bigger message. Musk was done being polite about policies that were wrecking his company.
One of Trump's most trusted aides. Walk us through how this whole thing started and where it stands now.
Right. Peter Navarro is his chief trade advisor and really has been the proponent of the most.
This wasn't just some late-night rant. It was a calculated clapback. Navarro tried to undermine Elon's credibility by reducing him to a glorified factory foreman. But Elon fired back with insult and strategy combined. He was reminding the world, and maybe Trump himself, that Tesla isn't some second-rate operation. It's the backbone of America's electric vehicle sector, and Elon didn't get there by assembling cars like a middleman. He engineered one of the most powerful and innovative car companies in the world. Musk's words might have sounded emotional, but they were grounded in a deeper frustration. Republican trade policy was beginning to feel like a wrecking ball aimed at the very industries they once claimed to champion.
Urged them to debate the merits of tariffs for all the public to witness, Ryan.
And said that their open disagreements in public will continue, as a matter of fact.
What we're seeing is Elon's shift from quiet influence to full-on confrontation. For years, Musk had tried to walk a fine line, donate to candidates, have private talks behind the scenes, shape policy with subtlety. But now that those doors were closing or ignoring him, he chose to go public. And going public, for Elon, means turning every tweet into a cannon blast. This outburst wasn't just about Navarro. It was Musk's way of telling the political world that if they keep messing with Tesla, they'll be dealing with him directly. The alliances he once built with conservative leaders are crumbling, and Musk seems to know it. What comes next isn't going to be polite. It's going to be loud.
Just a quick follow-up. There's been some public sparring between Elon Musk and the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, on some of these tariffs. Musk actually referred to Navarro today as being, quote,
The moment Elon Musk went to war with Peter Navarro, the financial world felt it. Wall Street doesn't like chaos, and that's exactly what this feud signaled. Stocks across the electric vehicle sector started wobbling. Tesla's shares dipped as investors feared that trade tensions with China were about to explode. If Trump's tariff plans went forward, there was a real risk of China hitting back, possibly with restrictions on American EVs or the critical minerals needed to make them. That's a nightmare scenario for investors. And when you throw in Musk's unfiltered, high-profile brawl with a major Trump advisor, it only added to the market's anxiety. Suddenly, this wasn't just about tariffs. It looked like a total breakdown in communication between the people who are supposed to shape economic policy and the ones building the future of American industry.
Thank you for coming. This afternoon, the president said that he thought people were getting yippy and a little afraid, hence the pause. But as you know, earlier this week, he said there would be no pause. What's ultimately the strategy here?
It didn't stop with Tesla. Tech stocks started to show signs of stress. Companies that rely on international supply chains and overseas markets were quietly bracing for impact. Analysts began sounding the alarm. One Wall Street strategist told Bloomberg that this level of uncertainty around trade is deeply destabilizing for markets already skittish about inflation and interest rates. Another financial expert called the Musk-Navarro clash a red flag for anyone hoping for economic stability under Trump's second-term blueprint. In other words, investors were watching two titans clash and realizing that there might be no adults left in the room.
Stock market history. We're going to 50,000 on the Dow. We're going to have a broad-based S&P 500 recovery. We're collecting over $2 billion a day in tariffs.
Even Musk's most loyal followers began to question how this would all play out. If the man who once helped Trump get elected can't protect his own business from policy sabotage, what does that say about the power dynamics at play? And more importantly, what does it mean for the rest of corporate America? Everyone knows that Musk is loud, unpredictable, and sometimes impulsive, but he's also one of the most influential business leaders in the world. When he starts panicking, Wall Street listens. And this time, it's not just a warning, it feels like a full-blown alarm.
dumber than a sack of bricks. Are you at all, or is the administration, the president, all concerned that this is maybe impacting the public's understanding of these tariffs? It might be messing.
When the media pressed the White House on the Musk-Navarro feud, the answer they got didn't exactly inspire confidence. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt didn't deny the fight, didn't correct the language, and certainly didn't defend either side. Instead, she brushed it off with a smirk and the phrase, "Boys will be boys."
These are obviously two individuals who have very different views on trade and on tariffs. Boys will be boys, and we will let their public sparring continue. And you guys should all be very grateful that we have the most transparent administration in history.
That one line said a lot, not just about how the administration sees its own internal conflicts, but about the deeper cracks forming behind the curtain. When two of the most powerful men in the conservative ecosystem are publicly throwing punches over national trade policy, and the official White House response is essentially, boys being boys, it raises a serious question. Who's actually steering the ship?
You're on Twitter, you've got nearly 1 million followers or thereabouts. How are you finding it under Elon Musk? Is he doing a good job?
I think it's I'm a huge believer in Twitter.
This wasn't just two CEOs in a Twitter spat. This was the guy building the country's electric future, and the architect of Trump's economic nationalism clashing over the direction of the entire U.S. trade strategy. These aren't fringe voices. One helped build a trillion-dollar tech empire. The other crafted the backbone of Trump's America First economic policies. For the White House to dismiss it like it was some playground fight strips the whole thing of the seriousness it deserves. That response wasn't just flippant. It was irresponsible. It sent a signal that these public fallouts don't need resolution, and that chaos within the ranks is just part of the show. But this isn't reality TV. These fights have real consequences. Markets react, voters take notice. Allies overseas start to question whether the United States has a stable plan at all. And if high-stakes disagreements are just brushed under the rug while government agencies struggle and services crumble, what message does that send about leadership? The flippant tone makes it feel like there's no adult supervision. Like everything is being driven by personality clashes instead of actual policy.
Very long time, except for watching Fox News, of course.
Oh, no, don't tell me that. Well, this is Sky News. I write for the Australian newspaper.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think Twitter will continue to be.
The bigger issue is what's being ignored while everyone's focused on the feud. It's one thing to have differing views. It's another to treat them as background noise while major systems break down. When the government's own spokespeople can't be bothered to treat major policy splits with the seriousness they deserve, it speaks to a deeper rot. That shrug from the press secretary wasn't just a bad answer. It was a metaphor for an administration that seems more comfortable with infighting than fixing anything that matters. While Elon Musk and Peter Navarro were busy hurling insults, something far more alarming was happening behind the scenes. Key parts of the federal government are quietly falling apart. This isn't speculation or political spin, it's reality. Over the last several months, federal agencies have been stripped of their funding, their talent, and in many cases, their ability to function at all. From the outside, it looks like mismanagement, but for those watching closely, this appears to be part of a calculated effort to hollow out the federal system from within.
Very different views on trade and on tariffs. Boys will be boys, and we will let their public sparring continue. And you guys should all be very grateful that we have the most transparent administration in history.
Take the Social Security website, for example. It crashed for nearly 2 days, causing widespread panic among millions of Americans who rely on it for monthly payments. Many of them saw alarming messages online saying they were no longer eligible for benefits, messages that turned out to be incorrect. That kind of confusion isn't just inconvenient. For vulnerable populations like seniors or disabled adults, it's terrifying. Meanwhile, the Centers for Disease Control has laid off key scientific staff. Health experts and air traffic controllers have been furloughed or let go. Translators, researchers, nuclear inspectors, the very people who keep the country running in ways most of us never even notice, are being pushed out or leaving on their own because the system is so broken, they don't see the point in staying. This slow collapse isn't happening in a vacuum. It's the direct result of a broader ideological movement, one that wants to shrink or dismantle the federal government entirely. Under the banner of Project 2025, there's a push to gut regulatory agencies, cut public services, and replace long-standing civil servants with political loyalists. The goal, according to critics, isn't to fix the system. It's to break it so badly that people give up on it altogether. Elon Musk and Donald Trump might seem like polar opposites on paper. A tech mogul obsessed with Mars, and an ex-president known for his gold towers and campaign rallies. But they actually belong to the same elite group. Ultra-wealthy, libertarian-style businessmen who believe the government should either work for them or get out of the way entirely. Both men have built their careers on the idea that disruption is a virtue. Tear down the system, break the rules, move fast. But when you give that mindset full control of the federal government, it doesn't run like a lean startup. It breaks. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.